Yes, in my experience, companies do value research. They understand the need to investigate any new area that they want to get involved in, or to investigate any unusual activities within the business before they make a decision. The trend has been that medium-sized and large companies are the ones who tend to understand the value proposition more, because market research has a cost, and then there's the effort attached to it. For SMEs, unfortunately, sometimes they're challenged with the cost element of conducting market research. So even though they understand the need and they may see the value, it can be challenging to access the services of a market researcher. Another aspect where the SMEs may be challenged in really taking up the value of market research is that the researcher needs to understand your product, your processes, and some SMEs are a bit hedgy in this area, or they're not so quick to disclose, and that in some instances can hinder the output of the research instruments. I would say whenever you want to do something new, something innovative, if there's a challenge being experienced within the company, it's always good to find out what's the source. So as I would have said, the areas of a new venture, always doing research to ensure that the need that you believe the product is going to fill or the service is going to fill truly exists. Sometimes the need may just exist in your circle of friends, and friends and families really doesn't make a good value proposition for a business. You want to understand if a wider market wants the product, if they have a taste and preference for the service that you are planning to offer. Another instance is when companies want to export, they want to change a system or a process. It's always good to understand what the end users feel, what the end users want, what are the challenges that they're experiencing, and really make those strategic shifts based on empirical data and empirical information rather than a gut feeling, or if 2 or 3 customers complain, changing an entire system around only because of 3 complaints that were received. It's always better to engage in some survey, a focus group, and these can be done online, they can be done via VoIP, even Google Meets. Those are great ways of conducting research. So it's not as static as it used to be in the past. So there are tons of ways and circumstances under which research can be done. Very often, like for the Caribbean context, we tend to think of our products being acceptable in what is called the Caribbean diaspora, which is primarily Canada, London, and New York. But one of the things I would have conducted some research years ago, and what I discovered was that there is a big market in Europe for kosher lamb. And some of the processes that we use within the Caribbean in terms of our black belly sheep, once we were able to slaughter and package it using kosher conventions, that's a major market that we could have exported our product and our lamb, the lamb byproducts too. So market research allows us to see those hidden potentials of markets that are there, rather than the traditional ones where we feel comfortable because we know that Caribbean persons live here. But then our products and our services may have benefits to others simply because of things that are organic to it. But the market research allows us to understand what is the need of that particular enclave, what's the need of that particular grouping, and then match our offering to suit that market. There are tons of benefits of research. Research is not simply just to have the empirical data and put it up there to say this is why we want to do a particular thing, why we want to take a particular direction. But what it also does, it provides the company with an opportunity to engage as well with their customers, with their end users, even with their staff if you're going to be changing an internal process. It provides you with that tacit understanding of what's taking place, it allows the end user, it allows your employees as well to feel as if they contributed to this major change, this major development that's coming about. It will give an idea of what are the trends. It gives you an idea of what are the tastes and preferences of your target market. It lets you know what are the restrictions for entering that particular country if it's a new market entry. We've heard many instances of manufacturers having orders for products, but when the product reaches the shores of the new market, the labeling does not meet the requirements, or they may be using a colored dye that has been banned in that country and that country alone, but other places in the world it's allowed. The other benefit of it is that in conducting market research, you may have gone to investigate one area, and in doing the interpretation and analyses, when we make correlations, it brings to the fore maybe another opportunity that can be explored, a possible cross-selling of products. It can even identify another source for the problem that the company may be looking at, because when we conduct research, we don't just ask the standard questions, but we try to make relationships and correlations between the various questions and person's response. If we're doing a focus group, for instance, and one member of the focus group mentions something that seems anomalous, what you can do is actually delve. You can probe, and it's so interesting to see that when one person brings it up, other people say, I forgot about that, or I didn't think about that. Yes, I have a problem with that, or yes, I like that. So it also allows you to unearth hidden needs that the customers or your end users would not even have. It's not top of mind, but if you delve into it some more and you put some further investigation to it, it may even become a new product, a new direction for the company, and allow you to actually address an issue that persons may not have been saying anything about. Your customers aren't saying anything about it because they're just so fed up they leave and they don't say anything. But that research allows you to see those areas. It can unearth those areas once the interviewer or the researcher is able to pick up on those cues that this is more than just a passing customer preference, but that it is deeper than that.